just want to let you guys know this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. If you need to talk to a licensed therapist, be sure to visit BetterHelp. And when you sign up, visit betterhelp.com/juice today to get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/juice. Be sure to do that, guys. Your well-being is worth it.
What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another Bring the Juice Colts podcast episode here. And guys, the Indianapolis Colts, they went with their gut and they went and got Tyler Warren in the first round. We talked about it a little bit last night when, emotions were high. Everybody was reacting to the pick. We had a day to sleep on it, and now we're going to come back and revisit this pick here. So let's hop into this, Cody. I mean, Tyler Warren is now an Indianapolis Colt. What is your reaction to that?
I think this is the most obvious fit that we've seen for the Indianapolis Colts in quite some time, to be honest with you. I think this is the one where I have seen probably the most positive interaction from Colts fans in a long time. And they should be happy and should be positive because this is the perfect fit for the Indianapolis Colts. We already know, it's been well documented up to this point, the need they had at tight end. I mean, you don't have to look very far last year on the tape to see tight end was a major problem for this Colts team last year. You had guys running the wrong routes, not able to catch balls that were there, all these sorts of things, right? And so you really didn't address it at all in free agency. You let one of your top guys in terms of snaps go in free agency to the Eagles. And so you look at that and you say, okay, that's the obvious fit there for the Indianapolis Colts. And you don't have to look very far, Derek, to see the tight end room just wasn't good enough last year at all. I mean,
43 catches last year.
Yeah,
43
exactly.
With the whole unit.
Exactly. Tyler Warren alone had more than double that last year. Yes. He had over 100 catches. So it's a very obvious fit there. And Derek, the thing I really like about Tyler Warren, we mentioned it last night. I'll mention it here again today. The fact that he can play all three downs, that's a big deal, right? Mm-hmm. And Chris Ballard talked about it as well, and asked about what are you looking for in a tight end? A guy that can stay on the field. And Tyler Warren certainly can do that. Obviously we know 100 catches, over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's a big deal.
Yes.
But that's not only what he can do. He can really block. If you really look at his tape, he pops out. He is out of the top prospects, far and away the best run blocker and just blocker in general, which is massive, right? To have him on the field. And, he's got a pretty darn good frame. He's 6'6", 260. Yeah. So he is a nightmare to try to stop to blocking. And so, and obviously in the passing game, he's a nightmare as well. But Derek, you look at what the Indianapolis Colts want to do. They want to run the football with Jonathan Taylor. They want to establish that, right? Mm-hmm. And Tyler Warren certainly helps out in that department. And you have 2 really good blocking tight ends already on your roster in Mo Alley-Cox and also in Drew Ogletree if he does make the roster. So you look at that and you say, okay, now we've got 3 legitimate tight ends that can be on the field all the time if we need them to be, right? But Tyler Warren's obviously going to be that guy. But for what the Colts want to do, I think this makes so much sense for them. And also the fact from the receiving game, you think this is going to help Anthony Richardson out at all, or whoever the quarterback is? I mean, we talk about the accuracy issues. Finding a 6'6" target in Tyler Warren, that's certainly going to help in that department for sure.
Especially a guy that can go up and get it too. I mean, that is a phenomenal play. Like you said, the 3 down aspect, because the tight ends that the Colts had on the roster, right? Kylan Granson, he was your pass-catching guy. I mean, he could be in for some block downs, but he certainly is not your most effective blocker.
Yeah.
But he certainly wasn't your most effective catcher either last season.
Yeah.
Mo Alley-Cox, fantastic blocker, but he lacks that ability to make routes happen in the open.
Yeah, he's much better suited as a tight end 2 or 3 than a tight end 1 for sure.
And Drew Ogletree, again, the best of both worlds, a guy that can definitely do both, but again, the inconsistencies in the catching.
Yeah.
And Will Mallory, we just have not seen enough of
Yeah.
Will Mallory. So you don't have a collection of guys. You have a couple of guys that do one thing usually pretty well, and then they just lack in another area. Tyler Warren doesn't lack anywhere.
Right.
He is a ferocious blocker. He's got the size, he's got the athleticism, and he can catch. So, like you say, you can put him in any situation, like we were saying yesterday. And the other thing, too, is schematically what you can do with Tyler Warren. Now, I'm a film guy. I don't know much about the names and how people will, what kind of offense, particularly Shane Steichen and them, like to incorporate. But I will tell you this. I know how crazy Shane Steichen gets with play formations, especially in the red zone.
Yeah.
When you get inside that 10 as well, and when you see these weird, crazy formations that the Colts put out there, you're confident that Tyler Warren can be put anywhere.
Yeah.
And you know that Tyler Warren is going to be in some way, shape, or form going to be utilized in that. Because when you're inside the 5-yard line, think of this, Cody. When you're inside that 5-yard line and you got a guy that's 6'6", 260 pounds that can run the way that Tyler Warren does with such tenacity and ferocity at the gaps. And you think that's going to be a guy that even NFL defenses are going to stop on the regular? No.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just not. I mean, yeah, sure, they might have better success at it in the NFL than in college football, obviously. But some of these guys, man, are they're just not going to be able to stop what the Colts are going to cook inside the 10-yard line, because you now have, if Anthony Richardson's your starting quarterback, you have a ferocious big quarterback that can run through anyone. You have a running back in Jonathan Taylor that can run through anyone. And now you have Tyler Warren that can run through anyone.
Yeah.
And Tyler Warren especially, you can run these crazy schematic plays where even Tyler Warren has the potential to throw the football because of his quarterback background. We've seen them do it at Penn State. And, you can run all these crazy schemes because it works.
I watched some highlights from Tyler Warren last night. There was multiple times where it was direct snap Tyler Warren. And he would just take it and he would get 5 to 10 yards about every play, right? You just give a 260-pound guy the ball. I mean, it's hard to bring down. So, yeah, like you mentioned, you can line him up anywhere. You can line him up, at the traditional tight end. You can line him up in the backfield, as a fullback, as a Y, all those things you can line him up as, which is just incredible. And obviously you talked about it. He can throw the football as well. Like we saw him actually had a pretty darn good spiral from some of the times he threw the football. Not a lot, but still.
Yeah.
All that to say, there's a lot you can do with Tyler Warren. You can line him up. He's a mismatch anywhere. Very few linebackers can cover that. And in open space, especially, it's hard for anybody. Safeties are too small. Linebackers are too slow. So, I think Tyler Warren is definitely that mismatch nightmare that the Colts are looking for. I was just thinking about this yesterday, Derek. You mentioned some of the people here that, the Colts will have at their disposal. Shane Steichen will have at his disposal. Think about that, though. Like, is this the tallest and biggest tight end room in the NFL? Like, legitimately.
We've been saying that for a while.
6'6". Obviously Jelani Woods is still on your roster. He's 6'7". Tyler Warren's 6'6". Drew Ogletree's 6'5". You got obviously also you want to look at your wide receivers. Michael Pittman's 6'4".
You got
Alec
size.
Pierce is 6'3". You've got size. All that to say, you absolutely do have size here, and I just think that's definitely going to suit you very well. And the Colts are building the Monstars, man. Really, they are. And when looking at tight end, it was the most glaring need on the offense that you just didn't have. You didn't have a player even half of Tyler Warren's caliber on your roster a year ago. You just didn't. So, it just makes a ton of sense here for Shane Steichen. Makes a ton of sense for the Colts. And you do wonder how much of your offense was hampered by not having a legitimate number one tight end on your roster last year. I mean, Derek, you see, look at even the top 4 teams that were competing for the Super Bowl last year. Pretty much all of them had a legitimate tight end one.
That's what you want nowadays. If you're actually legit thinking about contending for a Super Bowl, you need a tight end on that roster that's going to be able to that's going to make things difficult for defensive coordinators. because nowadays having a legitimate, really good tight end is a really big thing. And again, you brought up the stats earlier. Like, if you need any indication as to why this was such a big need, again, the Indianapolis Colts had 43 catches as a tight end group last year. Yep. Again, quarterback play certainly had a lot to do with why the number was down, but it was not the only reason. The tight ends that we had were trash. They did not play well. They don't play to strengths at that tight end room. And the leading catcher for the tight end group, 14 catches. That's less than a catch a game, Cody.
Yeah,
that's so bad. So when it comes to this, you're right. You now have a 100-plus catch tight end, a guy that can touch the ball 100-plus times a year and be able to do more than just run routes or block. This is a guy that can do everything for you. He is a multi-dimensional Swiss Army knife player, and that's exactly what you want if you're the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, I mean, there was a game last year, Derek, against, I think Chris Ballard referenced at the USC game. Tyler Warren in that game had 17 catches for over 200 yards in that game.
He had more yards and catches in that game than the leading person on the Colts last year all season.
And look at that 17 games.
Guys, that's wild. I don't think people quite understand it. In one college game, in 15 games that Tyler Warren played last year, guys, he had one game where he had more catches, more yards, and probably close to the same number of touchdowns as the leading tight end in the Colts offense did all year long. Think of that. That is criminal how bad that is.
That's pretty wild to think about that.
Think of the impact that Tyler Warren could have. Again, it's not going to be a fix for everything, but if people want to diminish Tyler Warren's impact for this Colts team, you just can't, man. He is a guy that Shane Steichen is probably salivating last night that he got, because it's like, I can do so many things with Tyler Warren. What's going on, everybody? Just wanted to say this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Guys, everyone wants to try to take care of their bodies and do the best that they can to help take care of themselves. But that also starts with your mind as well. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And of course, when you're doing potential therapy, in-person therapy can cost anywhere up to $100 to $250 per session, guys. That number can add up very quickly. But with BetterHelp, you can save on average up to 50% per session. With BetterHelp, you can pay a flat fee for weekly sessions, which can help you save on costs and time as well. Therapy should feel accessible, guys, not a luxury. You should be able to talk to someone the way you want to, when you want to. With online therapy, you can get quality care at a price that makes sense for you. Regardless, guys, if you have ever been in therapy or not, it is important to be able to get everyday stresses and sometimes even traumas that we experience off our chest and be able to talk to someone and go through those stresses. You know, your mental health is super important. We're all dealing with something. So take advantage and be able to get ahead of what might be bothering you. Remember, guys, your well-being is worth it, and it's now within reach. Visit BetterHelp.com/juice today to get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/juice.
Yeah. Well, and also the first 2 years, Shane Steichen hasn't really had a tight end that you can constantly rely on. You just haven't really had that. You've had a lot of by committee guys, but Tyler Warren's going to be that clear-cut number one guy. And, you know, that's a big deal when Chris Ballard's saying this is the best pick I've felt since Quentin Nelson. We know how that's turned out, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something where I was like, man, the Colts better be running this pick in for Tyler Warren.
And they did. He said no hesitation.
No hesitation, which is definitely great. So, yeah, I mean, now your offense, Derek, from a skill standpoint, outside of a running back a little bit later, you're set, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're set. You can focus on the offensive line. You can focus on that defense a lot more now.
Yeah.
But, dude, I just got to tell you this. Like, who would have thought? I know we're still early in the draft, but who would have thought from how we ended in January to where we are now, the Colts would have gone out and addressed two major needs on the defense by signing two of the highest rated free agents out there.
Yep.
And also get the best tight end in the class by a lot of metrics.
Yep.
That's a darn good start here for Chris Ballard here in a pivotal year for him.
Easily the best offseason so far that he has had to date. And we're certainly hoping that, this will obviously be a video for another time later as we get closer to the season. But, certainly hoping that this pans out. I mean, you and I, it's funny because people are like, we don't want to fire Chris Ballard because, I mean, we were like, yeah, we want him gone because we feel like he's incompetent and incapable of
he's not
doing the
change.
things that, he wasn't going to change.
That's what we're saying. He's not going to change.
But now we have seen him be the GM that we want him to be. He has made the moves that the Colts fan base wants him to make. That doesn't excuse the last few years of what he has done. We certainly hope it will translate to being better on the field.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. But as of right now, so far for this draft right now, he made the right pick.
If you're going to go out swinging. Go out doing everything you possibly can to ensure whoever your quarterback is set up for success.
Yep.
And that's what the Colts did with Tyler Warren. That was the biggest need on offense. It wasn't even close to, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, absolutely love the Indianapolis Colts getting Tyler Warren here. I think he fits like a glove into Shane Steichen's offense.
Yep.
And gives the Colts a true number one bona fide tight end for the immediate future. And I think Derek, a guy that can come out and easily have a massive rookie season.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, it would shock me if this guy doesn't almost match the numbers that the entire tight end group had last year.
Oh, easily.
Just by himself.
He better, yeah.
I mean, he should have those kinds of numbers. And in all honesty, guys, it's really not that crazy because it was 43 catches for
it was bad
400 or 500 yards and maybe 2 touchdowns. So that's not that crazy to think that Tyler Warren could do that by himself this next year.
Oh, easily.
Honestly.
Easily. He had over half of that in one game. So
yes, exactly.
He can do it. Absolutely. Yeah. It'll just be so nice to actually have a legitimate option in the middle that can help out Anthony Richardson or whoever the quarterback is, because you haven't had one of those in a long time. Reliably, consistently, you really haven't had a guy in a decade. I mean, honestly, over a decade probably at this point. Jack Doyle was solid. I'll give him that. But Tyler Warren's upside, let's be honest, it's bigger than Jack Doyle. It is.
Jack Doyle on steroids. Every steroid you could possibly
And that's no slight on Jack Doyle. It's just Tyler Warren's that good of a prospect.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully it translates, man. But certainly giving your quarterback a security blanket will never be a bad thing.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let us know your thoughts on Tyler Warren here to the Indianapolis Colts. Thank you guys so much again for all the support. And as always, guys, go Colts.